Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is a very special edition of Unger the Radar, where we talk all things film. And with me today is Academy Award-winning film composer Elliot Goldenthal of the new Glorias Steinem biopic, The Glorias. The film focuses on the life and times of women's rights activist Steinem. Elliot, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Randy. Hi. Good evening. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So the film is great. I loved it. I loved the performances. I loved everything about it, especially the score. Tell me, what attracted you initially to the project?
Well, all of Gloria's life, and I kind of knew peripherally. I can say a distant friend through the last 20 years, 30 years of my life. Gloria was. And Julie was reading her book called My Life on the Road. And that was, it's kind of almost a stream of consciousness, a journey through her whole life. It's not a biography so much as it is, thoughts on during her travels throughout her life since she was a little girl.
So basically a journal, a diary of sorts.
Yes, yes. So Julie was very excited about it. I read the book, and then they got into the, Julie wrote the script, and it was very, very exciting to watch it unfold. But in cinema, in movies, unless you write pre-records, like I did in Frida and Titus and things like that, for dance sequences or choreographer purposes, your score, I like to wait until the last minute. So when the Julie has an assembly and a director's cut, then I get really busy.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. So like many of your other films, there are many musical styles represented here. What is it like juggling so many styles and tones in one score?
It doesn't feel difficult as long as I find a constant. When a life takes place from 1930s to the present, you run into all sorts of stylistic and chronological development of the musical forms in America. So it's nice to have it represented in some form or another. The various composers had their own strategy. Nino Rota had a certain flair where you can feel his personality in every period he writes in, but it reflects the periods. In this movie, it keeps going back to a magical realist place, which is a bus, a Greyhound bus on a long, long stretch of highway. Looks like Big Sky, America somewhere. And that bus is able to bring in various Glorias at different ages, from a little girl to a college-age girl to a mature woman to an old woman, and have them have conversations, all four of them, about reflecting on various events that haven't happened or happened in the past. So it's kind of like a Twilight Zone-y kind of thing. So that gave me a constant to go back to. And I find that a very, very simple device is the most American sound from at least the 1940s to now is the amplified guitar. We heard it in early jazz records during the 1930s with a gentleman named Charlie Christian, up and through the rock and roll era, and et cetera, so that something about a Greyhound bus and a long highway, I can't, separate it from amplified guitar, long lyrical chords, you know?
So the bus is basically the theme or the driving force of the film, it seems, and definitely the score.
It turns up throughout the movie, and that's very helpful to me because this way I can have the sonority, the sounds that are used on the bus, guitar, harmonium, accordion, hammered dulcimer, glass harmonica. All those things can be weaved into other chronological events in the movie from the 30s to the present.
So how easy or how difficult is it to connect the music to the visual?
Well, let me back up a bit in saying that it's always good to have motivic material that's whatever form it is, whatever it sounds like. It's based on a tight little structure. The best thing in all times was Beethoven's Fifth.
Sure.
He created that little kernel of musical idea he created a universe where you think it's not there, it's there. At the end of the movie, the end of his symphony, you hear bum bum beam ba 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 da 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 da. There it is. You know, you wouldn't recognize it, but it's all over the place. Right. And I try to aspire to do similar things in a movie where I find a theme that gets manipulated and through modified repetitions and variations throughout the movie. It takes one into a more cogent space.
Okay, interesting. Okay, wow.
I hope you.
That's a lot. This is good though. I like that.
I know.
Good answer. Good answer.
Goldenthal lectures.
Yes.
Sorry.
Talk to me a little bit about your working relationship with Julie.
Yeah, it's not unlike every other director I work with on multiple projects. For example, Neil Jordan and I worked on 5 movies. Michael Mann, 2 movies. The late Joel Schumacher was 3 movies. And you know, when you get a dialogue, the element of trust is very important.
Right.
But I can't overstate that every movie is a clean slate. Everything is completely different. All the formulae that you might have had for former projects is thrown out the window, and you have to start from scratch. That's where it's the same. You know, Julie and I lived together for years and years. So the element of having one's roommate or one's husband or wife, you know, in quotient there, creates the opportunity to, in a relaxed manner, to discuss the project, you know, 24 hours a day if necessary. But it still comes down to Julie or another director has to hear what I'm doing, react to that, and it's the same process of collaboration, negotiation we have with every project.
So how important is collaboration and teamwork for you for the creative process?
In film, it's essential because in a movie, it's a director's vehicle. But the word collaboration is a very funny word because it obviously you collaborate with the director. However, there's performances on the screen. So you collaborate or interact with, let's say, Helen Mirren or Tony Hopkins or whatever, you know, and you see the actors' thoughts through their eyes and they kind of invite you in to the type of music that either enhance the scene or repel you and distract. So it's that's a collaboration. Another collaboration is with Julie, and any director works with an editor, and the speed of the cuts of the edits and the environments, the set dressing, and all of these collaborative elements inform me. And I really love that, as opposed to writing symphonies or string quartets or whatever. You don't have anything to hang your hat on.
I'm curious, were there any challenges in writing the score for the Glorias?
Yes, I mentioned that, and that was trying to find a unifying musical imperative when you're going through so many periods of time.
Okay, so that was, you'd say, the main challenge.
Yes. In the past, some movies have remained the same, like it's 1990 or 2000, whatever. And some movies changed, like Interview with the Vampire, had many periods,
right?
And for 500 years of time. So that gives you something to hang your hat on. Still, you have to have a constant that makes you feel you're in the same movie with the composer.
Okay. So for the Glorias, what do you hope audiences take away from it and the music?
Well, her message of human rights, women's rights is human rights, and the most important thing the movie, for me, brings across is the idea that listening is the most important thing. You have to, just sit down with a host of people you are either in conflict or on harmony with, but you have to listen. You have to take it in. And also the notion that she says, we are all linked in this world, not ranked. Linked, not ranked.
Okay. So you've had obviously a very long and illustrious career. Who are some of your musical influences?
Well, Randy, I was lucky enough to grow up, through the, I was a teenager in the late '60s. So I went to Woodstock. So, I was exposed to all those groups, all those various stylistic approaches to rock, for example. And I grew up, was lucky enough to grow up in Brooklyn, New York, where a short subway ride gets me to hear Miles Davis, and Dizzy Gillespie, and John Coltrane, and Mingus, and also gets me to the New York Philharmonic, gets me to the ballet, the opera. So just physically where I lived, I had so much beautiful stuff swimming around me at all times. And I grew up in a housing project. And when I open the window, I hear salsa, soul music, polka, whatever. So the splendor of hearing different styles of music and watching different dances is a lucky thing.
That's great. Yeah, to be exposed by so much great art.
Yes.
Nothing better. So I'm curious, what do you look for when picking projects?
They usually find me. It's usually a lucky thing where the project and myself find each other. I look for the intent and the aspiration of the director usually. if I have a feeling that the director is really passionate about the work and the project, there's a beautiful, clean motivation there. You know, it's not just monetary or just a number of likes, so to speak. It's a aspirational connection.
Right. Like a personal desire to get this done.
No, but personal desire to have the subject matter be illuminated.
Definitely. That's true art.
Yeah.
So yes, you mentioned earlier the late great Joel Schumacher, and
Yes, it was
you are
great.
one of the many composers to tackle the character of Batman. I'm curious, what was it like working on those two films?
Well, the first one was successful. The second one wasn't, and the first one was a lot of fun. And Joel Schumacher's imperative with those movies is to not take it too seriously,
Mm.
to make it, not disposable culture, but to make it fun, like the comic books were.
Okay.
A sense of you're in there to enjoy yourself. And his approach was very, very, very colorful, and the characters were very delineated. Like the zany characters were zany, the villains were villainous and very clear etched characters. And Batman Forever was a great, great project to work on. It had so many urban landscapes to work with, and neo-deco art and color and flair. And Batman and Robin was less successful, and I have a feeling everyone knew it wasn't quite adding up, but everyone put their best work into it and tried as hard as possible to bring it past the finish line.
Not a great film, Batman and Robin, that's for sure. But the music is very, very strong.
No, but Batman Forever as a film
Yeah.
had a stood out as being an alternative, a reasonable argument to the same material as that. It's a comic book.
Yeah. It's a comic book in motion for sure.
That's right.
I'm curious, did you ever have any conversations with Danny Elfman about that? Was it sort of like a passing the baton, or how was that? What was that relationship like?
I talked to, I had friendly conversations with Danny, but not about Batman. I think there was a new Batman, there was new Batmobile. I think Warner Brothers wanted from Danny and me to have big orchestral scores.
Mm.
Yeah. And sometimes both of us were influenced by late 19th century orchestral composers like Wagner, in the sense of brass, boldness,
Very dramatic.
dramatic, and in a sense, almost operatic in that sense. And also, without, when I got the okay to do the movie, I didn't go back and listen to Danny's scores. I enjoyed them when I heard them originally, but in retrospect, the similarity is that the large orchestral approach, and also because of the zany characters in that, we both had a chance to expand our repertoire with comic material, comic composing.
That's great. That's great. I love to hear that. Anecdotes from some classic films there. And another classic film, well, at least in my opinion, I wanted to ask you what it was like working on 1993's Demolition Man.
You'd consider that?
I mean, it's a fun movie going back,
I enjoyed reading the script, and I enjoyed working on it. And it was it's a similar situation as in Batman, in the sense that it had opportunity to work on a big score with a lot of a comedy in between. And then it had a futuristic element also.
Thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. The Glorias is now out on Amazon Prime. It's really great. It's a fantastic film about Gloria Steinem. It taught me a bit about her life. So, if you're curious about her and her cause and what she's done and accomplished, it's really wonderful.
She's still going strong.
Yeah.
Right? She is. Yeah.
For sure. And Elliot, the vinyl, when is that released? Is there going to be a digital?
I don't know. It just went out to be pressed and all of that. So within a month or so, it should be out. For the New Year's. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Elliot, again, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything. Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another edition of Unger the Radar, where we talk all things film. And with me tonight is fellow critic and frequent guest, lovely gentleman. We've got Mr. Matt Roren. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. I haven't been outside, but I'm assuming it's kind of miserable out, so I'm feeling a little
It
like
feels like that. I haven't left the house either.
Yeah, there you go. we're on the same page.
I think I read it was actually kind of nice, but I don't know. It feels miserable.
I didn't even look at my Weather Channel app, so I don't know. But anyway, have you been watching anything good this week?
This week I have been watching lots of Disney stuff. 1987. I watched. Including Touchstone Pictures stuff. So I got into some of the good stuff, like Can't Buy Me Love and Adventures in Babysitting, classics.
Love it.
It did Brave Little Toaster. It was a good block. Stakeout.
Did back to Brave Little Toaster? Did John Lovitz have a voice part in that? Okay.
John Lovitz was the radio.
Okay.
And Phil Hartman did a couple voices in it.
I love it. You can't go wrong with those guys.
Air conditioner, doing a Jack Nicholson impression, and he's a lamp also. Not the main lamp, but a different lamp. But yeah, that was supposed to be. That originally was planned to be the first movie that would be Pixar.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But because they were originally. Like John Lasseter was originally involved to do it, and then Disney fired him. And then Disney didn't even end up putting the movie out, which is why it's the only one that's not on Disney Plus right now. The two sequels are, but it ended up coming out through CBS Fox.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I guess they must have just licensed it to them. But yeah, it was originally could have been the first Pixar movie, but it wasn't.
Very interesting. Maybe they'll make it into a CG movie in the future. They'll remake.
But it doesn't make sense that one of the first shorts they did was Luxo Jr., which was a lamp.
Yeah.
The lamp character is a very prominent character in the movie, and they did that about a year before the Brave Little Toaster, so it could have been them just testing out how lamps move or whatever.
That's good trivia.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I did not know that. I've never even seen the Brave Little Toaster, but now I must.
Wow. It's very dark and good film.
Good.
It's a weird movie.
I think a lot of the pre-Little Mermaid animated films were dark and weird.
Yeah, I mean, even past that too, because it's when you think about it, Little Mermaid, kind of dark.
Yeah.
Lion King, definitely dark. Like even Oliver and Company, it's kind of dark.
Yeah.
But
Great soundtracks, all those.
definitely.
Nice.
Getting to those soon. Little Mermaid, I believe, is coming up in my watch list soon, which
Oh,
will
nice.
be followed by Oliver and Company very shortly. So
Excellent. Cool, man. Well, for me, the beginning half of last week, I'm still in the middle of it. I actually introduced my girlfriend to it as well. Cobra Kai. This
ah,
this show, man. I mean, I'm a little late to the party, but I'm so glad I'm watching this because
I'm super late to the party because I legit have not even watched any of the Karate Kid movies in their entirety.
okay.
Because when I was a kid, they did not interest me.
Mhm.
And as an adult, I'm still kind of like, don't really care.
Yeah.
So I will eventually watch them, but I hear Cobra Kai is excellent.
Well, the good thing about it too, since you haven't seen the previous films, they do like little kind of like they show clips from previous films.
Like previously in the Karate Kid.
Basically.
Yeah.
But you know what? I even think that this show is better than the movies themselves. I know a lot of people think the first Karate Kid is, it's a classic and all that, but I think that the tone that this show has struck is perfect. It feels like a movie. It's in a lot of ways, it reminds me of Breaking Bad in the way that it kind of the story progression and the character arcs. So I'm really glad I got into it, and I'm excited to hear what you think in the future. So that should be a good episode too. All right, and I've been just seeing random stuff on Amazon Prime. I just finished it, the Rodney Dangerfield movie Back to School.
Oh, classic. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and William Zabka. It's got one of it's got William Zabka from from
Billy
Cobra Kai.
Zabka. Yep.
So it's got a strange cast. It's a very weird story.
The Elfman score.
And Elfman's in there with Oingo Boingo.
Was released as a split record with Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh,
they released both soundtracks as one.
That's awesome. Great cues, by the way. The study montage is legendary.
Yeah.
And when I saw Danny Elfman, I'm like, wow, this is okay, and maybe this is worthwhile here. So you don't really see him in person in a movie. Like it's usually just a voice role or something. But during the Oingo Boingo scene, you actually see the title Oingo Boingo above the stage. So a little self-promotion there. Not bad. All right. So we've got 2 films tonight, as usual, going back to our standard format of 2 film reviews. And so the first one, and Matt, thank you for watching both films, by the way.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, they're both very different. Obviously, that's a trend with Unger the Radar. The first one is called The Nest, and it's written and directed by Sean Durkin, who he's done a few films previously. He's actually a very acclaimed filmmaker, known for his like very subtle style and strong character relationships. In this film, it basically focuses on Jude Law's character and his family as they move from America to England for basically a better job opportunity. And Carrie Coon, who plays his wife, is pretty much against the whole thing, is really miserable. And we go along for that ride with her being miserable. But it's actually, I like the film a lot because I thought the characters were written really strongly. I thought the story was a bit lacking, but that's okay because you've got Jude Law and Carrie Coon who are really great.
It's definitely more of a character study than the plot isn't really there, but it's but the acting is.
Yeah, and I mean I'd say if you're a Sean Durkin completist, I would recommend it. But this is like the type of film you see at like an art house theater. It's not a blockbuster. It's not a Marvel film, but it does have strong elements in it. And it's not a bad. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm just saying that it's sort of lacking. The energy isn't really there, which I was disappointed about. But I think Jude Law and Carrie Coon carry it as well as they can. So, Matt, would you recommend this to people?
I think I would. I mean, it's weird because watching it today, I'm just in a like blah kind of mood, and
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't the kind of movie I like wanted to watch today.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things where I'm like, I think like on a different day I might have liked it more.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. Like writing wise, it's beautifully shot. The acting's great. You know, and you know, it's just a good story about a failing marriage progressing into an even more failing of a marriage. You know, just like watching that deteriorate. It's you know, usually something I enjoy watching, like a deep, dark character study.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't so in the mood today, but I still liked it. I'll probably revisit it in like a few months when you know when it's out and whatever,
Yeah.
and the mood hits me.
Mhm.
But I would recommend it. I mean, you know, the performances alone are worth it.
Yeah.
Even
I would.
the kids are good too. You
Yeah.
know,
I
the
would have
song's
liked.
pretty good.
I would have liked. I mean, I would have. I'm not giving much away, but I would like to see more of the teenage daughters subplot.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
there wasn't enough of her in it,
Mhm.
but like you know, they were. You know, I liked the characters and the actors as
Yeah.
they were.
You
Um,
know, it kind of reminds me of the last movie to really strike me and that to remind me of this type of story was A Marriage Story.
yeah,
But that was a
I
lot
love,
better than this.
I love.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
great
mean,
film.
Marriage Story was one of those films that like it was like it because this is like these are like rich, unrelatable people. Like
Right.
whereas like even if like the characters in Marriage Story are richer or whatever, they're definitely their emotion level is
Hmm.
a lot more relatable.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell it was written by a couple like going through a divorce. Like it's written by someone going through it.
Yeah.
And you know, that one like I cried like a baby watching Marriage
Yeah.
Story.
Um,
Uh
yeah.
this I kind of like watched it and was like, okay.
Yeah. It just kind of goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, there's less at stake also in this, I guess, like
Yeah.
because it's like the thing with Marriage Story that also worked a lot more in its advantage was you see the love between the two of them.
Right.
In this movie, it starts out they're not getting along
Yeah. Yeah.
and it just continues further. So
Yeah.
it's like you're kind of like getting the middle to the end instead of getting the full picture. And you're not getting invested in their relationship the
Right.
way you do in Marriage Story. In Marriage Story, not only are you invested in their relationship, but also their friendship,
Yeah. And
which is
with it,
very strong.
and with this, you know, especially Carrie Coon's character, she is not likable at all.
No,
I
no,
am like not invested in her, you know, and really not as much as Jude Law, who's also kind of not likable.
yeah, no,
So,
they play like upper class jerks, like you know,
yeah.
it's like,
So
but they you know they do it well, but yeah, it's definitely it's been done more enjoyably.
yeah.
So
And you know what? Another reason why I picked this film is because obviously, you know, my history with the Ghostbusters and all that. She's going to be in Ghostbusters Afterlife next year.
oh yeah,
And I wanted to see. I've never really seen her before, so I wanted to just kind of
she
get.
was in what, Leftovers.
I didn't see
Was
that one either.
no, yeah, the show I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
But I think she's from that. I hear the name all the time and people love her, but
Yeah,
I could not picture her from anything. So I think she was in that, but I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna have to check out the Leftovers because I need to see something in which this woman is likable. I need to see
Yeah,
something that I could relate to. And I mean, if I think she's becoming a Ghostbuster or she's the mother, I think the daughter of of Egon,
right.
if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be an interesting family dynamic. I'd like to see that unfold. But for me, again, I picked this really because I like Jude Law. I love his choices as an actor.
Yeah.
And I've basically been following him since, like, I think the Talented Mr. Ripley, back in '99, and he rarely disappoints. I must say, and this film continues that trend. So I'm happy about that part. Are you a big Jude Law fan?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've been a fan of his for a while. I mean, I would say like the first role that I really noticed him in was probably AI. I don't think I saw. I didn't see Talented Mr. Ripley until later.
Okay.
But like just him as Gigolo Joe in AI, I was like he's enjoyable. And
was he CGI'd in that, or was he like wearing weird makeup?
I think he was just. I think it was like weird makeup prosthetics.
Yeah, it looked good, and he was like one of the film's only saving graces, from what I remember.
Yeah, like he was great, and then he continued to do like excellent stuff, and I just love seeing him in most things. Mm-hmm. And as we were discussing, we just did being John Malkovich.
Yep.
And we were discussing the new Pope, and he was the young Pope,
right,
in both those series. And he's so incredible in those.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's awesome. And I'm gonna have to go back and check out Sean Durkin's work, because actually in preparation for tonight, I watched his previous film, Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. It's the actual title, and it's also a drama. Well, that's a dramatic thriller actually, and it's got it came out in 2011. And it stars Elizabeth Olsen, John Hawkes, Sarah Paulson, and Hugh Dancy.
Yeah.
And it's basically about this young girl played by Olsen who, the story's told from like flashbacks to when she was in a cult, to when she's like rescued by her sister. From what I understand, it's kind of a strange plot, but I recommend that film, Matt, if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, we showed that at the cinema.
You did? Oh, great.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. That one, that's why this one, compared to that movie, left me a little disappointed, because I thought that was such a strong film.
I know.
And once again, this film it's good, but it's like that was at such a different level. Yeah. Like that one was just like super intriguing.
I know. You want to see what's happening to Olsen's character. You kind of care about her, and you want to go on her journey. But with The Nest, it's kind of almost the exact opposite, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you almost can't go wrong with a movie that involves cults. It's going to be interesting, most likely, unless you did it really wrong. So it's like cults, bad marriage, and it's like, it's like one is way more interesting than the other.
Yeah. And a cult movie that I'm just thinking of now that's about cults is Midsummer. But
yes.
I think we've discussed that in the past in previous episodes.
Probably it's probably been brought up.
Yeah, but that
once or twice.
But cult films, you really can't go wrong. But I like The Nest. I didn't love it. I would say go check out Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, and other Sean Durkin works as well, because he's a very talented filmmaker. I'll give him that. He's got a very interesting eye. Actually, the lighting in The Nest kind of reminded me of David Fincher. It had that kind of that Social Network tone about it. So, but not stellar, not great. It will probably warrant repeat viewings, and maybe we'll discover some more stuff in the future with more viewings. We'll see. All right, so that's The Nest, and that is available on video on demand as of November 17th. So check that one out. That should be good. And we're actually going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with our second film review right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 268-6.
Hey guys, welcome back to Unger the Radar. I'm your host Randy Unger here with Matt Roren. And we got The Nest out of the way. A decent film, not stellar, but we'll see what audiences think of that. I think that the second film here tonight, it's obviously much different, more interesting, maybe, I'd say. It's an animated film from the minds of Tom Moore and Ross Stewart. They're known for their Academy Award-winning animated features in the past. They're terrific filmmakers, and their new film Wolfwalkers tells the story of a young girl named Robin, who she moves to Ireland with her father to wipe out the last pack of werewolves. But when Robin is in the woods one day, she actually saves one of the werewolves, who is a girl at the time of the saving. Basically, they form a friendship, and there's obviously a clash between the humans and the wolves, and Robin is unfortunately stuck right in the middle of that conflict. This film, it's dark, but at the same time, it's very family friendly in a way. It's not total, it's violent, but at the same time, it's like, you could show it to your kid. It's not gratuitous violence, and the story's really good. What struck me most was the animation style. It felt like it was ripped right out of a storybook, and just like animated on top of a children's book. That was my favorite aspect of this film. Matt, what did you think of Wolfwalkers?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the previous two films. So I like the animation style is the same in all three, and they all basically they feel like storybooks. They feel like old fables, which is great because you don't get enough of that in modern like children's movies.
Yeah,
like that feel like a fable as opposed to things that feel like a commercial for toys. And this is these three of these films are just like so beautifully animated, and the stories are incredible. I would say this might be my second favorite out of the three.
okay.
I would say Song of the Sea is my favorite of the three, which is a really cool aquatic tale about Lighthouse Keeper. But it's the story is really interesting. It's a cool take on werewolves also that we don't really get to see often. Usually anytime you see a werewolf in a movie, it's as a murderous, ravenous werewolf.
Right.
Or someone who's become a werewolf and is basically like, oh crap, I'm a werewolf. This kind of avoids both of those and makes it more of a like tale of just like a tale of two different groups of people.
Right. In a way, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Avatar in that respect,
Yeah.
Like two tribes. You've got the humans, and then you've got the werewolves, who are seen as like violent, barbaric creatures. But in the end, everyone kind of gets together and gets along, and it's actually a really nice family story. Another thing I'd want to mention is the soundtrack, which was really beautiful. The score, the songs, they're just very, very dreamlike. They really go with the visuals, and I think when a movie combines great visuals with great audio in terms of score or songs, and you've got a winner. And I think Wolfwalkers is a really refreshing animated film that we've gotten in recent times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has everything you want from an animated film.
Hmm.
Like, and it's all like you just can't get enough of like emphasizing that the animation style just being, because it's, especially now we're so used to CGI'd animation, and like where it's just like nice to see something that even remotely looks like classic animation being used, and it's just it's very refreshing on so many levels. And all three of these movies I recommend. They all have great soundtracks. They all have just like great stories.
Yeah.
And
And I know Tom Moore he's Irish, and these film have a very strong Irish flavor to them.
All three films are very Irish.
Yeah, it's good though. It works in their favor.
Yep.
Oh, and I want to go back to that. So like seeing animation in this style like now we're obviously in a very CGI heavy film market. So it really is nice to see movies that look like it was hand drawn.
I was reading that Don Bluth, legendary animator,
Excellent.
Secret of NIMH, American Tail, used to work for Disney as well. But he is kind of taking lead in trying to get films to be animated again by hand. Huh. Yeah, he's like kind of like, we need to end this, like, because I mean, you think about it, half the people, we've been doing CGI animation for so long now, since the 90s, early 90s, pretty much, because it's like, remember, like, after, I guess what was like Tarzan was like the last Disney movie that was like animated.
1999. Yeah.
Which was 99. And then like after that, it was like, everyone jumped on that Pixar bandwagon.
Right.
Where it was like everyone tried to be Pixar.
Right.
And it just like left regular animation in the dust. I feel like half the people who actually worked as animators are probably dead or dying. Because even the ones that were working, like Disney still had the same like animators working from like the 1940s.
Wow.
Until they fired them because they're like, oh, computers, get out of here. So all those guys are dying off, if not already dead.
Yeah.
So someone's got to save the bring back the art to it. I
know, and I'm hoping that Tom Moore makes more stuff, because he's a very gifted guy.
Yeah, I mean it's God. Secret of Kells came out. God, it's like 10 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
2009 for that.
2009, yeah. So it's over 10 years ago, and it's like he puts out a movie like every 5 years.
Yeah,
roughly, which
because
I guess is enough, but like.
Well, I'm assuming that the animation process, especially this type of traditional animation, takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I commend the filmmakers here, especially Tom Moore, for really sticking it out and their resilience and bringing these stories to life. So it's really nice, and it's really refreshing. And it's interesting
to see that Apple TV taking this on. Because the other two were released. We had both of them play at the cinema when they came out, and they didn't get wide releases. They were hard to find for a while, and then they eventually ended up on like Hulu, kind of like on the back burner, where if you like looked for it, you'd find it, but it wouldn't be like in like the main pages or whatever. But it's nice that this is being like promoted and. Push a streaming company, of course, one that not everybody has, but still.
Yeah, and a platform like Apple TV Plus is a great way to promote such a story. And it's a testament to, it's really great for them, because it's originality, it's creativity, and it's really nice that we're seeing stories of this caliber.
Yeah, they're really they've been doing good with what they've chosen to be their original like programming. to get people interested in their format. I mean, main reason I got the Apple Plus TV was for the Beastie Boys documentary, which was only on the Apple Plus TV, which was excellent. And I mean, they even did a Tom Hanks movie, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh, Greyhound.
Yeah.
Yeah, we reviewed that. Well, not you and I, but we reviewed that on the show a few months ago. That was one of our last episodes. Decent film, by the way. Very action packed, and if you're a Hanks completist like I am, then I recommend it, Matt.
I'll get to it.
No, and something else I saw on Apple TV Plus. It's called Here We Are: Notes for Living on Planet Earth, and it's also an animated short, I guess you could say, that basically deals with the environment and living on this planet and what we can do when we can do our part to make it a better place to live. And it's like the quintessential kids animated film that you show the whole family and get them kind of pumped up about the environment and saving it. So that was actually narrated by Meryl Streep, and it had a pretty good voice cast in that too. But yeah, I believe that's also on Apple TV Plus right now. So
awesome.
Yeah. So Wolfwalkers, do you recommend this, Matt?
Absolutely.
Same here. We really don't see movies like this anymore, and it's sad. So I'm really hoping that other animators, other filmmakers will take note and really, come up with some original stuff that's not, just churned out from a computer. We need to see originality more.
Especially, it's like the Pixar movies are good, and certain of the companies do them well. But then you get stuff where it's like Arctic Dogs, where it's like not that it's a bad movie, but it's like it's so computer animated where it's like no human being actually animated this, had any part. It was just like they typed in make a dog.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's no heart put into the animation itself. And it's just like pump it out.
It's sad, but sometimes we get lucky with some movies like this.
Yeah.
Well, I say see it, guys. See it. It's actually G Kids will theatrically release Wolfwalkers on November 13th, and the film will stream around the world on Apple TV Plus on December 11th. So yeah, bring the kid, put the kids on the couch, turn this on, and just enjoy. It's a great film. It's really, really great. And check out Tom Moore's previous films too, because they're also great. Nice. All right, guys. So this is the wonderful time for plugs. Mr. Roren, anything you'd like to discuss tonight?
Well, as always, on Saturday nights, I do Cult Cafe. We've been streaming for the past however many months since Corona hit. We've been streaming it. It used to be in a movie theater. But as for now, until the theater reopens, we have been streaming on our Facebook group, the Cult Cafe Not So Secret Society. You can find that through that or Cult Cafe on Facebook. We do it Saturday nights about 9:50, and we stream a fun full movie and a watch party. This weekend we are doing the first Monty Python feature film, and now for something completely different, which is basically a reshooting movie style of their greatest hits in sketches. And it is a hoot and a holler. And so we do that every Saturday night.
Not always kid friendly, right?
Well, I mean, it's also a 10 at night, so
that's a good point. Well, no, when I was a kid,
it's adult friendly.
I remember Saturday nights. I would stay up for Space Ghost Coast to Coast. So
I've been staying up Saturday nights for Saturday Night Live since I was like a wee lad, a very wee lad. I basically old enough to have watched almost the entire series as it happened for from I would say I probably started watching it in the like 82.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, staying up with my dad. So it's like I remember those Eddie Murphy, Joe Piscopo episodes fairly well from being that young, and all the way through. Pretty much took a hiatus in the late 90s, early 2000s, but I'm back to it. So
Taking a break back in that period was probably a good idea.
it's funny because I actually have been rewatching a lot of the episodes from that time period, and I stopped watching mainly because at the time I did not like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I did not like pretty much any of like the Chris Kattan.
I like Chris Kattan. He was like my only favorite.
Which is it's like now I
Yeah.
rewatched a lot of his seasons as well as the SNL Best of Chris Kattan, and I gained so much respect for this guy. Like, he is such an incredible physical actor.
Right. Oh, and very random too. Like, he was in House on Haunted Hill, the remake.
Yeah.
1989. That was a strange.
Yeah.
But
he like he does a lot of like really nuts physical comedy, and he actually like broke his neck during Saturday Night Live.
Really?
Like he still has like problems with his back and everything from throwing himself backwards during a sketch in a chair.
Was that when he played the monkey boy, the ape?
I don't know what sketch it was, but it's pretty interesting. But I definitely rewatching them now. I like them so much more than I did then. I just feel like I think what threw me off initially was all of the original characters that like Will Ferrell did, like the cheerleaders and Night of the Roxbury, just like fell very flat for me.
I hear that.
So I just kind of like skipped out for a bunch of seasons, and now I'm back.
I think I started watching it live in like maybe the early to mid 90s, and I know that the E channel would show reruns of mostly the late 80s, early 90s, which personally was my favorite.
I mean, that period is incredible. Like, I mean,
Right.
Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Kevin Nealon.
Chris Farley, yeah.
I mean, Kevin Nealon is still like one of the greatest, if not greatest, Weekend Update guy they had. Is so oddly subtle. I don't know, he's so good.
I actually like Dennis Miller a little bit.
Dennis Miller was good. He's very snarky. He became a total dick, but I actually saw him in 1993 live do stand up.
Cool.
It was cool at my brother's college. So that was cool.
Was Rick Lewis also on the?
I wish. Jeez, man, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I've never seen him. I would love to have seen him.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Any more plugs, Matt? Or
I think I'm good. I don't know. I don't do anything ever. So what?
You do the Cult Cafe, and we love you for that.
Yeah, I do that, and then I plugged that already. Besides that, I will be eating ramen on my couch, watching old Saturday Night Live, and
I think that's what heaven is. That's
I might be drinking a Snapple.
Yeah.
You can probably catch me there.
Good. Enjoy the ramen, Matt. Thank you. But I want to thank everyone. Actually, before we say goodbye, we've got a few plugs from our lovely sponsor, Magnitude Jewelry. Basically, we've got the Body and Mind Spirit Expo on November 21st and 22nd, and that's in Tampa, Florida. And also, we've got a new kids line for Magnitude. So check that out on the website, Magnitude. Just Google that and it should pop right up. But I want to thank everyone who has been watching at home on your devices. This has been great. As always, Matt Roren, thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
And I'm your host, Randy Unger. This has been Unger the Radar. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.